Simple man. Greetings. My name is Ram. I'm the president of BlueConch Technologies, a UST global portfolio company. Today, I'm representing the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. I'm the past president of the Pune chapter of the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, also known as IACC. Today, we're going to talk about Industry 4.0, the future of Indo-US manufacturing collaboration. So before I begin, I want to give you a small brief about the IACC. The Chamber is committed to promoting industrial, economic, business, and commercial activities between United States and India. The Apex Bilateral Chamber is a non-government, industry-led, and industry-managed organization. IACC promotes bilateral trade, investments, and technology transfer, facilitates business collaborations, joint ventures, marketing tie-ups, and strategic alliances through a set of proactive business-oriented initiatives. IACC also acts as a catalyst in promoting economic growth between the two countries. With over 2,400 members in India and representing various segments across manufacturing, logistics, fintech, financial, real estate, and others. And to speak more on the topic today, Industry 4.0 and globalization, I'm going to invite my colleague, Ashutosh Parasnis, who is also the past president of the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, Pune branch. Over to you, Ashutosh.
Thank you very much, Ram. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you who are attending this session. Thank you very much for being with us. I would also like to thank Automation Alley for inviting us to share our thoughts. On behalf of Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, I'm Ashutosh Parasnis, and I'm now going to talk about Industry 4.0 in the context of globalization. Now, before I do that, just to keep our conversation focused on the topic and the slides, please allow me to switch off my video so that we are not distracted by that. All right, so my talk is not going to be a technical one, but more about what influences Industry 4.0 and what would it bring to international business, specifically between USA and India. With every major industrial and technological change, we have seen that the characteristics of globalizations have also been altered. Companies are using more complex worldwide supply chains and data networks in their operations. We are now very much aware that physical connectivity is being replaced with an increasing number of digital links, many of which are stored in the cloud. Greater international collaboration is more possible than ever before. Using cloud-based software, any member of the staff in any geographical location can contribute to, say, the design of a product. The function is being increasingly offered in computer-aided CAD software, computer-aided design software. As we see that, from desktop operations or desktop versions, we are getting cloud versions from various vendors, making design a more collaborative process. You can track the status of your supply chain or control a process, a service, or a product remotely. Operating in this way may mean the international company of the future does not need a significant physical presence across the globe in multiple locations, but could operate from just a few clusters. And that's what I mean by showing you this slide, that the automation and digitalization today is changing the nature of the way the business is being done, especially when it comes to manufacturing. Now, let me spend some time talking about the manufacturing sector in India. Manufacturing contributes 16% of India's GDP. While there are many globally renowned manufacturing companies, there is also thriving SME sector as well. Currently, the gross value add by manufacturing to the GDP is about 370 US billion dollars. And a recent McKinsey report estimates that another 320 billion opportunity is going to be available to the gross value add activities. While official numbers are not available, there were close to 100 to 125 American manufacturers in various sectors today who are based out of India and carrying out their operations. As you can also see from the graph, the electronics good industry is in a nascent stage, but what is predicted is that it is going to be one of the fastest growing sectors with a lot of policy support from the government. So is the defense sector expected to grow since the government has increased the foreign direct investment criteria and eligibility for foreign entities. The government has identified about 24 key sectors in manufacturing for the future focus. And the figure over here, what you're seeing, illustrates some of them, approximately 11 sectors. And as you can see at the top, the sectors like vehicle and vehicle components or the auto segment, capital goods and machine tools, pharmaceuticals are fairly mature, while others are relatively emerging. The interesting part in sectors such as automobile, food processing, pharma, chemicals is that they're adopting Industry 4.0 practices to a varying degree. Auto sector in particular is demonstrating its leadership through helping the companies to respond quickly to changing needs as well as improve their internal performance. That's how they have actually established the Industry 4.0 practices here in India. Some of the companies have now made their production facility a regional hub, moving away from a singular focus of concentrating only on the domestic market. So that's an evolving advantage of Industry 4.0. Some of the companies are tracking customer engagement. So they're not just industry focused, but they're also tracking customer engagement, product performance, as well as activities such as the sales distribution using the Industry 4.0 methodologies and hence trying to gain a better competitive advantage in this business. And I shall talk a little bit more about this in just a moment. So let's look at this slide, and I want to spend some time, slightly more than the earlier one, on what is Industry 4.0 in the context of Indian ecosystem. Because progress is not achieved without the right existence of the right ecosystem. So let me talk of the status of the same. There are multiple stakeholders as depicted in the figure. Let me walk you through each of them briefly. So right at the top, you see the icon of manufacturing. So large and medium manufacturers in India today are showing the way for Industry 4.0 implementation. It has to be realized that Industry 4.0 is very large in its scope, moving from semi-automated to the ultimate possibility of autonomous manufacturing. While autonomous manufacturing, excuse me, while autonomous manufacturing is still far, companies are realizing improvements in cost savings, safety, compliance, forecasting, and flexibility. At the same time, let's look at the second bubble, which is about research. Research and academia collaboration with the industry is also much needed activity. So out here in India, companies like Bosch, IBM, Bharat Forge, they have established in-house research labs or collaborations with premier academic institutes such as IITs or Institute of Science. Technology vendors too are teaming up with government and academia to set up centers of excellence for pilots and incubation. So in that context, we have here in Pune, the Pune University, having established a center of excellence specifically for Industry 4.0. The Indian government is also fully aware that the Industry 4.0 is the future of manufacturing. Given that Industry 4.0 impacts not just technologically, but also economically, socially, and environmentally. Indian government has announced a slew of policies. So some of the policies are Make in India. Another very recently announced policy is productivity linked incentive for the manufacturing sector, Skill India, manufacturing policy. These are some of the examples. And what this whole thing is an attempt to try and ensure that India becomes a part of the global value chain when it comes to manufacturing. Global industries not only see the market opportunity to come to India, but the continuous progress of the ecosystem has also positioned India as a strategic destination in their eyes. Coming to the talent part, it is well known that upskilling of talent is very necessary, and it is not just on the shop floor, but across all levels in the Industry 4.0 world. So what we have in India is actually a large pool of semi-skilled talent in the manufacturing sector. And a lot of them are being retrained for Industry 4.0, either in-house or through government-owned Indian Technical Institute, or what we call as ITIs, which are spread all over India. There are close to 14,600 such institutes, and those two are being upgraded to build Industry 4.0 skills. At the same time, there is no dearth of executive and managerial talent. Indian executives and managers are not only highly qualified, but many of them have global exposure as well. In fact, my colleague Ramprasad is the global CEO of an American IT services company, operating for a large part of his time out of India. That highlights a point I made in the beginning about the changes that are coming in. And when it comes to actual implementation, it is necessary that the equipment and service needed comes from reputed vendors as well. India has long enjoyed the presence of world's leading technology companies in India. So as you can see from the bubble called capital goods and devices, over time, Indian companies too have become leaders in digital technologies and system integration. As a result, we have many robotic companies in India. We have seen emergence of companies such as Pari, which is headquartered in Pune and also has a factory in Michigan, I think. Another company called Grey Orange and Jyoti Industries. And these are alongside global giants such as Fanuc, ABB, Bosch, etc. Moving towards the other technology providers, when it comes to system integration, IoT platforms, app development, analytics, you already know India is the nerve center for such companies and servicing global clients around the world. Companies like TCS, Wipro, Infosys, IBM, Cognizant are some of the world leaders who serve their global clients from India. So isn't all this a classic example of an Indo-US collaboration possibility in an Industry 4.0 world? Think about that. Okay, so I've talked a lot about the environment and the context, and I'm sure you're interested in some actual real life examples. Well, there are quite a few that are known in the public domain, but given the restriction of time, I shall mention just a few of them. When it comes to implementation, each company needs to develop its own approach. Every company's business priorities are different, and they need to judiciously approach the implementation. So let's take the example of a company called Bharat Forge, which is an Indian company with global presence, including US and Europe. They specialize in forging tools and dies, and their products are well accepted in the automobile and defense sectors, among others. For them, the journey began on the shop floor and moved to connected plants. They developed a strategy, trained their workforce before actually implementing anything. Also, their projects were chosen carefully to improve business metrics that were agreed upon by everyone across the company. So their focus was cost saving through energy management and condition monitoring of the equipment, workplace safety, OE, and these were some of the things to begin with. And they have started their journey more than a year ago and progressing very well. Bajaj Auto. I'm sure you might have heard this name, but this is another leading auto manufacturer from India, which manufactures two-wheelers and three-wheelers. Apart from selling their products in the domestic market, they also export their products. Given their B2C focus, they are using analytics to monitor the sales, distribution, product and service performance out in the field. By collecting data from internal systems as well as social media, they're able to monitor and forecast after sales scenarios and effect improvement proactively. By the way, they of course have an automated factory as well. The third example I would like to talk about is Asian Paints, which is a leading paints brand in India. The interesting part is they're famous not only for their products, but for their innovative business models. They have been leveraging data analytics for a long time and have created a super efficient distribution channel strategy, which now has become a case study, which you can refer if you are interested in it. But the outcome is that it is one of the most successful companies in India. It is not just popular with consumers, but investors as well. Apart from that, they are one of the early companies in India to initiate the digital twin initiative on their shop floor. As you know, digital twin is up on the value chain within the Industry 4.0 ladder, but Asian Paints has started experimenting with that. This means it not only deploys the technology, but tries to grasp one of the important dimensions of Industry 4.0. Last one, but not the least, I would like to mention is the GE factory in Pune. The unique thing about the factory is that it is designed as a multimodal factory. This is another example where a company has gone just beyond technologies and it has tried to internalize some significant aspects of Industry 4.0. So this flexibility and configurability is something which they achieve through a multimodal factory. The factory can be configured to manufacture different products from GE portfolio in the shortest amount of time. So I guess that gives you a glimpse of the status of how India is progressing on the Industry 4.0 value chain. So I guess that gives you a glimpse how Industry 4.0 can and is being applied. But now this brings us to this interesting point. What are the business opportunities then in the Indo-American context? Before we talk of specifics, it's important to know that the business environment plays an important role. I'm sure many of you are operating on the global stage, and you're well aware of this. If you're already not aware, then let me tell you that Indo-US business relationships go back well in time. Today, India is the 9th largest trade partner of USA, and the total trade in 2019 was US dollars 146 billion. Apart from that, both countries enjoy a mutual trust. The trade has been growing over the past decade in a very, very satisfactory manner. From a business point of view, which I'm sure you are looking at, India is a large market for US businesses for specific sectors. And the same is the case for Indian businesses, where being present in US gives an opportunity for Indian businesses to access larger markets. From an Industry 4.0 context, businesses need infrastructure, talent, and the availability of materials. And if you recall, we have already discussed that in the ecosystem part of how India is progressing. We are also seeing that India is moving up the Global Innovation Index and is filing more patents than in the past. So US manufacturers with the right planning can look at using Indian presence to enhance their own presence in the global value chain. And now I would also say that same holds true for Indian businesses in the sectors they believe in. We already have companies such as Mahindra, Pari Automation, Dr. Reddy's, TCS, Wipro, Infosys, Bharat Forge, to name a few, who have their presence in the US. So to conclude, Industry 4.0 thus provides us opportunities to access markets, manage operations, as well as develop relevant products and services in an agile, socially, and environmentally responsible manner. And that is really the global opportunity Industry 4.0 is giving us. And I would invite everyone to try and capture that as early as possible.
Thank you, Ashutosh, for the wonderful presentation and giving us a good understanding of the opportunities in India and the US with regards to Industry 4.0. I'm going to talk further about the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, Pune, and what is the value proposition we bring to the table. Now, ISCC Pune chapter is a very active branch for the chamber. True to its vision, we provide a platform to promote knowledge sessions, B2B networking opportunities, and also host a lot of delegates for business conversations and discussions. So with regards to knowledge sessions, we cover various spectrum of topics, including technology, business, commerce, and also international trade treaties and taxation, etc. With regards to networking, we host the Indo-US Economic Summit. We promote a lot of interaction with the US consulate officers, especially around topics like commercial discussions, visa, IPR, etc. We also do a lot of workshops and seminars, and also promote the members through various award functions. Besides, we also host a lot of delegates from the US. Various Economic Development Council members from the US visit Pune and talk to us about the opportunities in investing in the US and in very specific domains such as textile, manufacturing, automobiles, and so on and so forth. This also leads to a lot of one-on-one and one-to-many meetings. We also provide a lot of guidance and support to members in helping them promote their business activity between the two countries. And we would be very happy to provide you more information, and you can always drop an email to us or visit us on our website. The other exciting thing, especially speaking in the context of Industry 4.0, is our upcoming event called as SmartCon 2020. Thanks to COVID, we had to move the dates and looking to host this early January 2021. As you can see, SmartCon is about smart manufacturing and how we can turn that into a reality. Right? We're going to be bringing in various industry leaders to talk about future of manufacturing. We're going to have leaders from the government and also from US consulates to come and talk about global opportunities in the context of manufacturing. There'll be a lot of technical breakout sessions, especially around technology ecosystem that is going to promote smart and connected world, and also regulatory in terms of what does it take to promote commerce between the two countries in the context of Industry 4.0, right? And with that, we come to the conclusion of this particular presentation. As I mentioned earlier, you can write to us at srinath@isccindia.com, or you can visit our website, isccindia.com. For more details, we will be sharing all this information and be making sure it is made available to you. Thank you once again for this opportunity to present ourselves and talk about the opportunities in Industry 4.0, especially between India and the US. Thank you so much.